Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danvat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol to Vishwanath Prabhu, Pawan Prabhuji, and Aarti Mataji for leading the chanting this morning. We'll continue with our prayers and then reading. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody would like to sing our prayer of the week? Shri Sachi Sutta Ashtakam. Okay, yeah. Yes, anybody would like to try? I think we've had Ninu Mataji, Aarti Mataji. Have already tried. Anybody else? This is not very difficult bhajan.
So can you sing the first one? I will try, but I'm not sure.
Go ahead, Hari Bol, Naren Prabhu.
No, the first, can you try like how the tunes?
Nava Gauravaram Nava Pushpasharam Nava Bhavadharam Nava Lasya Param Nava Hasyakaram Nava Hemavaram Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram.
Okay, I'll try, bro.
Yeah.
Nava Gauravaram Nava Pushpasaram Nava Bhavadharam Nava Lasya Param Nava Hasyakaram Nava Hemavaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Nava Premayutam Navanita Sucham Nava Vesakritam Nava Premarasam Navadha Vilasat Subha Premamayam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Hari Bhakti Param Harinamadharam Karajapyakaram Harinama Param Nayane Satatam Pranayasrudaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Satatam Janata Bhavatapaharam Paramartha Parayana Lokagatim Navalehakaram Jagat Tapaharam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Nija Bhaktikaram Priya Charutaram Natanartana Nagara Rajakulam Kulakamini Manasalasya Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Karatalavalam Kala Kantaravam Prudhuvatya Suvina Nikaya Madhuram Nija Bhakti Gunarvrita Nityakaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Yuga Dharma Yutam Punarnanda Sutta Dharani Suchitram Bhava Bhavachitam Tanu Dhyanachitam Nijavasayutam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Arunamanayam Nayanam Charanam Vasanam Vadane Skalitam स्वकनं मधुरं कृते सुरसं जगत् जीवनं प्रणमामि सचि सुत गौरकरम्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol to Nalin Prabhu. Thank you so much for wonderfully
Just
singing.
tried, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Yeah, we can all try, and Krishna does the rest. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Shri Shachi Sutashtakam ki jai, Shri Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Translation I'll read.
Translation you want to read? Okay.
His complexion is the hue of fresh cream tinged with kunkum. He is the ever-fresh Cupid who shoots arrows of newly blossoming flowers. He bears newer and newer mood of emotional ecstasies. He is the fond of performing novel dances. He makes ever new jokes that cause much laughter. His brilliant luster is like freshly cast gold. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is endowed with ever-fresh love of Godhead. His radiant luster is like the color of fresh butter. His fresh attire is arranged in even-draw fashions. He releases ever new melos of love of Krishna. He shines in ninefold new ways while executing the ninefold process of devotion. He is premeditated with a most auspicious loving nature. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is absorbed in devotion of Sri Hari. He maintains the chanting of the names of Hari. While chanting, he counts the holy names on the fingers of his hands. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He always has tears of love welling in his eyes, and I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is always removing the suffering of material existence for mankind. He is the goal of life for persons who are dedicated to their supreme interest. He inspires men to become like honeybees, eager for the honey of Krishna Prema. He removes the burning fever of the material world. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He motivates pure devotion unto himself. He is most attractive to his beloved servitors. By his dramatic dancing, he exhibits the characteristic of the king of paramours. He causes the minds of the beautiful young village women to dance. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of the Mother Sachi. He plays kartals as his throat emits sweet, melodious sounds, and the vibrant, vibrant notes of the veena are the softly played. He thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with the aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of the Mother Sachi. He is accompanied by the Sankirtana movement, which is the religious practice for the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj come again. He is extraordinary brilliant ornament of the earth. His preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in the meditation on his own form of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. I bow to Gora, the beautiful son of the Mother Sachi. His eyes, the soles of his feet, and his clothing are reddish like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice falters. He awakens a sweet flavor to life throughout the universe. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of the Mother Sachi. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you, Nalin Prabhu. Any verse that you liked particularly, or any reflections that you want to share from this?
Yeah, lot of glorious for Gaura, like his attraction, his sound, everything is spiritual, transcendental, and that's what it is mentioned, and the characteristics also mentioned in this translation. Because see, we went through, like I can tell, like I can relate to Gita, and the glories to Gaura is like, first of all, the first step, we know the Sankhya Yoga, like, okay, I am soul, I'm not the body, right? And that gives you the spiritual awaken, right? That is the first step. But second step, we understood that, okay, what is karma yoga? Like when we do the karma, we should not expect the results of the effort what we are putting, but we have to dedicate to the God. That we knew in the karma yoga. But these are the prerequisite of the bhakti, right? So we slowly, grow like that. But when we come to this bhakti, but when we read all Gita, Bhagavad Gita, or Sri Chaitanya, so we'll, earn gyan, or we'll learn a lot of things, knowledge. So after that, if we do the bhakti with all this formula, like what you are using right now, ABCD, like association, book reading, chanting, and devotional service, and slowly we'll have to be purified, like the purification starts. So once the purification starts, once we become a purified soul, then only we can, go back to our spiritual abode. So the purification is the main transformation process from all this, whatever I said, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So that purification needs bhakti. So that bhakti comes from Sri Chaitanya. So we have to bow down to Sri Gaura and Krishna Rup. Then I think we can improve. That's what I can say to it.
Jai, 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 Hari Bol. Thank you, Nalin Prabhu. Yes, wonderful. Somebody, like you tried singing this prayer, right? Like you said, yes, what is in our control is our effort, and then the result is with the Lord. And yes, just like you said, just by reading these literatures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, reading our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can understand the mood of our acharyas, understand, the message and instructions of the Lord. Everything is there in our scriptures that have been given so lovingly by our acharyas, and that is what Prabhupada is also teaching. Yesterday in Prabhupada Lilamrita, he was saying, just read Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, as he was ill, but he was just asking his disciples to read these scriptures, read these books, because all, and at the end he was also saying, all my instructions are there in the book. Don't fight amongst yourselves. After Prabhupada leaves, he was saying, don't fight amongst yourselves. When his Guru Bhai, His Holiness Narayan Maharaj, Devi Narayan Maharaj had come there. So like that. Thank you for wonderful reading. Yesterday we were talking about Kartals, and I was remembering you. You are our excellent Kartal player, and this is also something that Mahaprabhu has taught us. I think you are coming back from Buffalo, or you are driving back, but yeah, Kartals are, our hands and our tali that we use. We can use that, but also we can play Kartals like Nalin Prabhu does at center. So very good. But yeah, using our body, mind, and senses, using our body, mind, and words, everything in the service of the Lord. So today you did that, right? You are using your words by reciting this prayer, by reading this translation. You're using your mind by absorbing in the meditation of Gaura, and of course you're using your body by waking
Yeah.
up, morning, and chanting. So thank you.
Next.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we have come almost towards the end of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita's recap. We had already completed the whole series, the 6 volumes plus the 7th additional pastimes of Srila Prabhupada back last month, February the 3rd, and we had then done this PDF, which is a kind of a summary study of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. So yesterday we came up to the end of chapter 54, where Prabhupada, we again saw how he was in Vrindavan, and then he desired to go to West, just again that his Guru Maharaj had ordered him, so he went to New York for the Rath Yatra in July of 1977, which was just like 3-4 months before his departure. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj wanted him to go west further to the west coast, but due to Prabhupada's failing health, he decided to go to London instead. And then in London he took darshan of Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand and Shri Shri Radha Landanishwar. Right, so he had beautiful darshan, almost remind me of Radha Vrindavan Chandra when we look at these deities. But Prabhupada was focused with concentrated attention, and when Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked him, "What did you pray?" he said, "I was praying to Radha Gokulananda that I may get service of Shri Shri Radha Rasbihari." So that was Prabhupada's mood, that he wanted to establish the temples in India. Now that the temples and centers are flourishing in the US, in the West, his desire was to establish temples in India, and he had already done that in Vrindavan, and now he wanted it to be in Bombay as well. So from London, Prabhupada comes back to Bombay, and he wants to be there to install the deities, which were supposed to be done around Vijayadashmi in February time frame. But right now this is October, and then Prabhupada eventually, because his health was failing, he decides to come to Vrindavan. So this was a true soldier of Shri Krishna, but who has now come back home in Vrindavan. So that is where we stopped yesterday. So let's continue this final lesson, chapter 55. Despite his promise to live, Srila Prabhupada said his life was still in Krishna's hands. He remained surrendered to the will of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada had already asked disciples to pray, "My dear Lord Krishna, if you desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada." Srila Prabhupada, by agreeing to delay his departure, was offering opportunity to his intimate disciples to render very personal intimate service in pure and simple love. Srila Prabhupada also began his translations. Earlier he used to do in solitude. Now he was translating in front of all the disciples. Those who served Srila Prabhupada felt the strength of complete surrender and sensed that this would sustain them always, even when Srila Prabhupada eventually departs from the world. Srila Prabhupada again started to not eat or drink anything, although sustaining desire to live for the sake of his disciples. But gradually it became more clear that Krishna's will indicated Srila Prabhupada's departure. Bhavananda Prabhu told Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada's presence was necessary to prevent the onslaught of Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada said, "It is not in my hands." Srila Prabhupada was completely dependent on Sri Krishna Balaram. Srila Prabhupada's sister Pishimatai arrived, and Srila Prabhupada asked her to cook khichdi, but the disciples said that it was not good for Srila Prabhupada to eat solid food suddenly, as Srila Prabhupada was on liquid diet. Srila Prabhupada said that because Tai was a Vaishnavi, whatever she cooked would be good for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada in his humility said that he had become puffed up because of his opulence and success, and God was shattering the pride, saying that if body is not there, what to be puffed up about? Pisimatai and Bhakti Charu Maharaj said that Srila Prabhupada could not commit any offense, as whatever Srila Prabhupada did, he did it for Lord Sri Krishna. Whenever Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers visited Srila Prabhupada would always ask for forgiveness for his offenses. Srila Prabhupada was displaying symptoms of Mahabhagavat, Uttamadhikari, with all humility. Now, earlier he had come down to Madhyamadhikari level to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wanted to go on bullock cart parikrama of Vrindavan as arranged by Loknath Goswami, but the disciples with increased intimacy felt that Srila Prabhupada could not survive such rough treatment on the roads. Srila Prabhupada said that dying on parikrama is glorious and asked to be taken, but disciples had differing views, with Loknath Maharaj and others arranging for parikrama to Govardhan, as next day was Govardhan Puja, while His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami and others did not agree for parikrama. That night, Nishkinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj visited Srila Prabhupada, and all disciples were surrounding Srila Prabhupada in anxiety, and Srila Prabhupada asked, "You request me not to go?" And when devotees explained that Srila Prabhupada should not go, Srila Prabhupada said, "Okay." And everyone said, "Jai Srila Prabhupada." Srila Prabhupada turned to Nishkinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj and said, "Just see how much affection they have for me." by all of Srila Prabhupada's actions and dealings, his intention was to capture spirit souls and deliver them to Krishna. On November 14th, 1977, at 7:30 p.m., in the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada gave his final instruction by leaving this mortal world and going back to Godhead. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada's departure was exemplary because his whole life was exemplary. His departure marked the completion of a lifetime of pure devotional service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada's last breathing was glorious, not because of any mystical demonstration, but because Srila Prabhupada remained in perfect Krishna consciousness like Bhishma Pitamaha. Srila Prabhupada was teaching how to die by always depending on Sri Krishna. Kaviraj asked Srila Prabhupada in the evening on November 14, 1977. Srila Prabhupada said, "Kuch ichha nahi, I have no desire." Srila Prabhupada's passing away in perfect situation in Vrindavan in association of devotees, chanting and hearing the holy names of God. Just as Lord Krishna was personally present before Bhishma Pitama, similarly, Lord Krishna was personally present before Srila Prabhupada in the form of his holy names. Srila Prabhupada thus departed under the most favorable circumstances possible, in the most sacred place, Sri Vrindavan, surrounded by Vaishnavas chanting Hare Krishna, and Lord Krishna arranged this for his pure devotee, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. On November 14, 1977, at 7:30 p.m. in Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada gave his final instruction by leaving this mortal world and going back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada's departure was exemplary because his whole life was exemplary. Over the last months of his life in this world, Srila Prabhupada taught how it is possible to meet death step by step in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada told one of his sannyasis, "Don't think this would not happen to you." Srila Prabhupada came into this world on Krishna's request to teach us how to live a pure life of Krishna consciousness. And that includes how to finally pass away from this world to go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada underwent death in a way that was perfect and glorious at the same time, in a way which we can all follow. When we have to leave the body, we can cling to the memory of how a pure devotee left his body, always thinking of Krishna, surrounding him with medicine or aushadha of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, always desiring to hear about Krishna and being detached to the misery of material condition. This last lesson was one of the most wonderful and most important instructions Srila Prabhupada gave us. He taught by his life, by his books, and at the end, by his dying. His passing away was a perfect lesson and one that can be faithfully followed. When Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, had departed, Srila Prabhupada wrote that, "On that day, O my master, I made a cry of grief. I was not able to tolerate the absence of you, my Guru." On November 14, 1977, all who knew and loved Srila Prabhupada were gripped by fearful, unrestricted grief. Only to turn towards Srila Prabhupada's books to now continue serving Srila Prabhupada's Vani.
So I can read. The Prabhupada was still in charge. Devotees were experiencing the highest mode of devotion service in separation, Vipralamba Seva, as was experienced by the gopis of Vrindavan when Lord Krishna left them. This is the epitome of Krishna conscious realization. In chapter 55, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Hare
Jai.
Bol.
Gurudev ki Jai.
Hare.
Krishna. Anybody would like to share any reflections, any thoughts?
Mahaprabhu, I want to give, my, heartily gratitude to you also, like Krishna and Srila have given good strength to you. Though you are emotional, but you completed the Srila Prabhupada Charitamrita, right? So it was really fantastic journey from last, I think, more than 1.5 year we started this. So today it is coming to an end, but it is so emotional. But we learned a lot of things, though we have to go through once again. A lot of things might have been missed because specifically I didn't attend consistently. Though I attended because of a lot of other things going on, but your consistency, your dedication is so great. So that's all blessings and mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. So I will always pray to God, like He always keep this kind of strength to you and teach us like this.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, to all his mercy and mercy of our Guru Parampara that we are able to do this without Krishna Kripa, Krishna Kripa ho tabhi Krishna ka naam le sakoge. So yeah, it's all their mercy that we all are able to come together and associate with Srila Prabhupada. Like he said, it's more than his Vapu, his Vani. He'll live forever through his books, and just by reading his books, we can associate with him directly every single day as we have been doing. And yes, his mercy, his shelter is there for all of us. He created this wonderful house, like he said, of ISKCON. This is a nice umbrella, shelter he has given us for the whole world, and everybody can come under this house without any caste, creed, religion, and whether we are Hindu, American, Christian, whatever, this ultimately Krishna consciousness is the universal religion for everybody. So yeah, we are so fortunate and grateful that such a pure devotee came in our lives, and without his teachings and without his instructions that he left for us in these books, our lives would have been like, if we can all think of where we were, when before we started our Krishna conscious journey, just completely lost, like we sing in the prayers of Shri Guru, that Om Ajnanatimirandasya, right? We are completely lost in the darkness of ignorance. Only through these books, when we opened these books, the torchlight of knowledge opened for us, and by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all these wonderful small books also that Srila Prabhupada has given us, small steps we are able to take, and today we have been able to reach wherever we are, on our journey, and should only go onward from here. Like Prabhupada's point was that we should give this life. If you think this, like we were reading today, he's compared to Shri Bhishma Pitamaha, right? And Bhishma Pitamaha was a Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajans. And what did he do? He showed that, even for the service, for the pleasure of the Lord, he even fought against the Lord, right? And he was supporting the Kauravas. But since he was such a pure devotee of the Lord was personally present before him before he was leaving. And just like that, Srila Prabhupada, the Lord is present personally in this age, especially this week. We are celebrating Gaur Purnima. So it is like, Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar have personally come, as they knew that Prabhupada is about to depart. So Prabhupada has left wonderfully in the glorious presence of the Lord. Shri Radha Krishna both have come in the form of Gaura. And as we are celebrating Gaur Purnima tomorrow, Prabhupada decides to depart this world in the presence of Shri Gaura. So yeah, if he was like Pitama, he came really for all of us. At least I can say that I'm like a Kaurav with so many anarthas in my heart. So at least I should do something in this life to give this life to Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, that we can serve his instructions nicely. So yeah, he played the role of Bhishma Pitama for us, at least as Kauravas, and he gave us the instructions to how we can become Pandavas and become pure devotees of the Lord and go back home, back to Godhead, not in any other lifetime but this lifetime. So we should have that conviction that Srila Prabhupada told, that it is possible to go back home in this lifetime. So that should be our desire, that should be our mission, that we at least should be able to serve Srila Prabhupada so nicely that we can seek that blessing of him, and we can go back to him and serve him wherever he is, wherever he wants us to be. So yeah, that should be our mood. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. It's nice to see everybody coming together and being with Srila Prabhupada through his books. Any other thoughts, comments? Anybody would like to share anything? Your reflections from our reading of Srila Prabhupada, Leelamrit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, everyone. This has been the most beautiful journey of more than a year, and it was very, very beautifully. It brought so much of life in the morning, made our mornings so blissful. So, thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you to all the devotees. Akele mein strength nahi hota. When we all come together, it gives us bal. So, we could all feel this bal of getting more closer to Srila Prabhupada, and knowing him is more important. When we read this book, it made us more and more closer to Srila Prabhupada, because we knew it. अगर हम जानेंगे नहीं तो प्यार कैसे करेंगे? So it was very beautiful reading. Again today, when it came that Srila Prabhupada said that I got puffed up, I had tear in my eyes, because who can say that Prabhupada got puffed up? He was so humble. So yeah, it was amazing. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, with every instruction, again, he's coming down to our level. Like we said, he is a Mahabhagavatuttama Adhikari, but for the sake of preaching, he came to the level of Madhyama Adhikari. So again, by his achar, he's doing the prachar. He's not just talking, right, but he's walking the talk. Right? That's an acharya. अपने आचार से जो प्रचार करते हैं. So he coming down to our level and teaching us that this is like this last lesson. We said this is the final lesson in terms of how we leave this world, how we actually live in the world, and then how we leave the world, and everything Prabhupada taught, how to live while we are living, how to practice Krishna consciousness, and then also when he's leaving, his humility with all his god brothers. There are some videos I'm not able to share right now, but maybe I can share the link. But yeah, of course, watching those last, instructions of Srila Prabhupada and Vrindavan is always, it brings tears to the eyes. But, his god brother, Narayan Maharaj, was there to do the final kirtan during Prabhupada's Samadhi. And it's very, very touching, very moving. So you can see that, and how Prabhupada tells him that yes, he is begging forgiveness from all his god brothers, even though he did the most glorious service to his Guru Maharaj, and still, in mode of humility. So again, he teaches us that no matter how much we may do, we may accomplish, ultimately all glories should go to Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, because without their mercy, we can't even move our hand, or we can't even move our eyelids, anything. So ultimately he gave all credit to his Guru, and only if we completely follow Sri Guru's instruction completely, rather than Guru even tells us to jump from the cliff, we should be ready to do that without even asking a question. So that is what Srila Prabhupada did at the age of almost 70 years, going west just because his Guru had told him, without caring for himself, without caring for his health, how much of courage, how much of surrender to his Guru's instructions. But still, at the end, he's teaching us in complete humility that even though I accomplished so much, he's saying I got puffed up. So yeah, we should always be careful and cautious of that mood, that we should never be puffed up, and always remain humble. Because only when we remain humble and surrendered, then we can remain steady and consistent and continue. Otherwise, there will be fall down. I was also watching some. I'll share that link in the WhatsApp group. But there is some nice pastime videos of Srila Prabhupada. So yeah, like we read yesterday, when he was in Gita Nagari, or from Gita Nagari, Paramanand Prabhu and his wife Satyabhama Mataji, they sent that woolen shawl, and Prabhupada was going in Gita Nagari. And also the New York Rath Yatra, the 10th anniversary of ISKCON's incorporation. the 1966 Rath Yatra, sorry, 1976 Rath Yatra, after 10 years of ISKCON's incorporation. And so nice memories that are shared by his disciples. Just so wonderful to hear all those nice pastimes. But yeah, I'll share those links in the WhatsApp group. Okay, anything else from anybody?
Yes, Prabhu. So recently I've started this deity worship course where Mataji was playing this clip where Prabhupada was telling Krishna, that like even if you offer anything to Krishna, but with love and devotion, then only he will accept it, And he was just choking and crying, that I'm rotten and I'm fallen. So if you desire Krishna, please accept this, And then he said that if you offer like whatever, you can offer anything, but if it is not without any bhav, any feelings, then he won't accept it. But even if you offer like a small, just a cup of water with feelings, he will accept it. And then so when he was describing that, it was, you can actually feel that he's so humble, he's just doing it out of so much love for Krishna. And then Mataji was telling that, whenever we offer something or whenever we do any deity worship, we should always think that this is how Lalita Sakhi would be doing, to in Goloka, actually. And if you do that with that power, then eventually, whenever you go back to Godhead, that's how, you will be able to connect like that. So whenever I just read this line, that Vipralamba Seva is, the devotees were experiencing when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, they were experiencing that. So we can say how much, they were into devotion, that they were experiencing that at the last moment of when Srila Prabhupada was passing away. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why in that video, when Prabhupada is in the Gita Nagari, he's walking, and because he wanted these farm communities, Gita Nagari, and of course our New Vrindavan, and somebody brings like a potato and a brinjal, and that Mataji, as she's describing, she says Prabhupada looked at it so lovingly, because he wanted those farm communities. So just his simple gestures, would capture the heart of his devotees. Even in the 1976 Rath Yatra in New York, which was the first Rath Yatra on the 10th anniversary of ISKCON, one of the disciples of Prabhupada was sharing that how, it was so hard to get the permit for Rath Yatra in New York City. Imagine like in downtown New York, getting permit to do this Rath Yatra. It was so hard. So Prabhupada, asked him, so what did you say to get the permit? And then, this disciple, he was thinking, why is Prabhupada asking me that? And Prabhupada, it's all by his mercy, only we have been able to do. But since he was asking, then he said, Prabhupada, I just said, you'll be pulling three hand-pulled carts. That's it, that's what I wrote in the application. 3 hand-pulled carts. And Prabhupada says, Jai, yes, that is in our parampara, that is in the line. So he was comparing it to, Vaman Dev's 3 steps that Vaman Dev took. I said, yes, like Vamandev took 3 steps, we have 3 cards. So the point is the disciples say that, whenever Prabhupada would see, his mood is completely absorbed, concentrated in devotional service, always, connecting. It will be very, very, impromptu and very, spontaneous. Whatever Prabhupada would say, it will be always remembrance of Krishna in each of his Vani. So like that, he was completely absorbed. And again, we can learn so much by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, because everything that he wanted to say is there in his books. And yes, and this Vipralamba Seva we can do. The service and separation, like we said, if we do the service and separation, then we will develop love and separation. And once we develop love and separation, then our reach back home, back to Godhead is very, very close. because once we're able to cry for Krishna, like I said, with the bhav is all that the Lord wants. We should be able to cry for the Lord, cry for our Guru. And once we're able to cry, then yes, he's always there, just like Krishna was always there with the gopis, because they're always completely absorbed. Like we were reading yesterday, renunciation. Our pronunciation doesn't, like Prabhupada said, pronunciation, of that Mataji when she was in India. She was reciting Sri Ishopanishad shlokas, Prabhupada, and she knew only first 4 shlokas, and Prabhupada was there. And she was terrified that, I don't know, what will I say after this, and Prabhupada immediately stopped her. And then, because some Indians were questioning that, oh, she's not pronouncing properly. Prabhupada says her pronunciation may not be perfect, but her renunciation is perfect, right? So it doesn't matter what our pronunciation. So that's the renunciation, the bhav internally, that is what matters. Thank you, Mataji.
That's a good answer, bro.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so thank you all. We'll pause here at 6:40. Thank you again for joining every day. And yes, whatever, even if it's the drop that we learned from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, that drop is more than an ocean. So we should just see how we can apply these teachings in our own lives, meditate on them, reflect on them. Even if one instruction we can sincerely take to our heart that Srila Prabhupada gave in this Lilamrit, that will be perfection of our life. So again, like I said, we are all individual souls, we are all eternal souls, and we are all empowered separately or differently by the Lord, by our Guru Parampara. But in the line of whatever we heard from Srila Prabhupada, whatever we learned from Srila Prabhupada, we should be able to apply these teachings in our own lives. So that should be our mood. So let's do that, and we'll end with Vaishnavanam prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit ki jai.
Jai.
Nityananda Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
So
Krishna,
today we
Hare
Prabhuji.
completed
Hare
Krishna.
Lilamrit.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Tomorrow
What a
we
wonderful.
will have our monthly first Saturday of the month, 32 rounds of japa. If you're able to join, even for part of it, please join.
So what would be our next reading, Prabhu? Next
Next
book?
reading on the list is Teachings of Lord Kapila. So it's good.
Oh,
From
Lord Kapila.
TLC to TLK we are going, from Teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Teachings of Lord Kapila. So yeah, that's the next book. So we'll start from Monday, either Sunday or Monday, we'll see. But tomorrow we'll have our first Saturday 32 rounds of japa with Srila Prabhupada. So, okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Announce.
Rich.